Buying a luxury home in DFW right now is one of the strongest financial decisions that you can make in this market. It's also one of the easiest ways to lose six figures if you don't know what you are doing. The DFW market for luxury is $1 million and up, and it's actually gained value through 2025, while the broader market, of course, softened. Buyers have more inventory, more negotiating power, and more time than they've had in years. That sounds like great news, but more leverage doesn't always mean more room to make expensive mistakes if you're not approaching this market in the right way. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 luxury home buyer mistakes that are costing DFW buyers $100,000 or even more right now. Each one of them is real, and every single one of them is avoidable. And stick around to the end because the 5th mistake is the one almost nobody talks about in the luxury space. It does not happen at the negotiating table. It happens years before you decide to close, and it's the one that quietly costs you the most. I had a client not long ago, a senior executive relocating from the West Coast, sharp, used to high-stake decisions, had bought and sold multiple properties before. They found a home that they loved, one of the premier enclaves in North Texas, a beautiful property, excellent location, everything checked out on the surface. They moved fast because they were used to competitive markets where hesitation costs deals, much like most of the home process in the West Coast. They waived a few things to strengthen their offer. They did not push hard on price. They closed and they were thrilled. But over the next 18 months, 3 quiet things collectively cost them over $100,000. None catastrophic, none that were visible at the time, but they were all preventable. That story is not rare here in DFW luxury, not because buyers aren't careless, but because luxury transactions have a different set of landmines than standard purchase properties. Walk in with the standard buyer mindset and you may end up stepping on them. Quick intro. I'm Brittany Stewart with the Lux Realty Group, and I specialize in helping buyers and sellers navigate the luxury market here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. On this channel, I'll give you the unfiltered version of what actually happens at the high end so that you can make a decision that will hold up over time. Mistake 1, using a generalist agent for a specialty transaction. This one sets every other mistake on the list apart. The DFW market, above $1 million, is its own world. Pricing dynamics, negotiating posture, inspection expectations, off-market inventory, the relationship networks that surface properties even before they hit the MLS. None of that operates like that in the general market. A solid agent in the $400,000 to $600,000 range is not the same animal as a luxury specialist. Volume and specialty are 2 different things. What you should do instead: interview agents who close luxury transactions in your specific market. Preston Hollow might operate a little bit differently than Southlake. Westlake is different than Frisco. You want your agent who knows that specific area, the sellers, and the pricing behavior in that particular pocket. Typically, what we cover is the northern Dallas suburbs. DFW luxury transactions above $1 million make up roughly 5 to 7% of the total DFW closings. The top 1% of agents handle 60% of that luxury market. Mistake number 2, skipping or shortcutting the inspection on a high-end property. Oh my goodness. The assumption is that $2 to $3 million homes must have been built and maintained to such a high standard. Sometimes that is true, but oftentimes it is not. Luxury homes in DFW can include custom construction, complex systems, pools, home automation, wine cellar, guest house, and extensive landscaping. Every one of those is a potential liability. And then, of course, foundation issues in North Texas. The clay soil does not care what price that house is. They don't discriminate. HVAC servicing for an 8,000 square foot house is super expensive. Pool repairs can run into the 6 figures. So what you should do instead is commission a comprehensive inspector who specifically handles luxury and custom construction. Budget for a longer, more detailed inspection and read every word of the report before you close. Of course, right there with your agent. Mistake number 3 is not understanding the hyper-local pricing demands. DFW is not just one luxury market. It's a dozen micro markets that behave completely different. In 2026, the inventory was up and days on market extended across the Metroplex. There was real negotiating room, but that room varies dramatically in a submarket. Buyers who negotiate based on the Metroplex with wider averages maybe overpay or lose deals on the wrong comparables. Here's a quick example. I currently have a listing that is a luxury near Fort Worth's Linwood Addition, right next to the Cultural Center. $749,000, 3-bedroom, 4-bath, 3 stories, 2,749 square feet, built in 2019. The submarket 76107 behaves nothing like a Highland Park or a Westlake. It's a different buyer pool, different days on market profile, and different different appreciation curve. So 717 views and 51 saves in the first 2 weeks tells you exactly how micro market this is performing right now. That is the level of street and zip code data that you need on every single offer, whether you're at $750,000 or $7 million. So what to do next? Insist on a deep comparative market analysis specific to that street, more particularly the subdivision, and of course the price tier. What did all the last 5 comps sell for? How long were they on the market? What did buyers negotiate off of the listing price? This is the data that matters. Mistake number 4, underestimating the total cost of ownership. This is the one that quietly wrecks the budget. A $2 million house in Southlake or Highland Park does not cost $2 million. It costs $2 million plus everything else. What you should do instead, build the full ownership cost stack before you fall in love with the listing. Purchase price plus carrying cost is a real number. A good agent will help you model this before you ever even make an offer. What you should avoid, using the mortgage payment as a proxy for your affordability. At the luxury level, an ongoing cost can rival the mortgage itself. Utilities, insurance, upkeep, maintenance, landscaping, cleaning, all of those things. Mistake number 5, buying a lifestyle without thinking about resale. We see this one a lot. This is the one that I promise, and the one that costs you the most quietly. In the DFW luxury market, there are homes that appreciate well through multiple cycles, and there are homes that are spectacular to live in, but they carry characteristics that shrink the buyer pool when it comes time to sell. A highly personal custom home design, that's one of them. A location slightly off of the main luxury corridor, or a polarizing architectural style. A floor plan that maybe serves the current owner, but not the broader market in the resale sector. None of these will stop a home from being a great place to live in, but when you sell, you are now the seller. And a smaller buyer pool means longer days on market, more price reductions, and ultimately less money in your pocket. What you should do instead, before you close, ask your agent one question. If I need to sell this home in 5 to 7 years, what do you think is going to be the resale story? And of course, we don't have a crystal ball, but the answer is confident and specific. You should be in good shape. If it's vague or overly optimistic, make sure you pay attention to that. So here's what ties all 5 of these together. Luxury buyers in DFW right now have more power than they've had in years. Inventory is up, days on market are extended, and sellers are negotiating. The data supports buyers who are prepared and they're very specific. But that leverage translates into value if you avoid the mistakes that eat it up. An underqualified agent, a skipped inspection, a mispriced offer, maybe you underestimate the cost of ownership, and a resale blind purchase. Those all can collectively wipe out 6 figures in a transaction where you've had every advantage going into it. The buyers that win in the DFW market right now are not the ones moving the fastest. They are the ones that are moving the smartest. So I want to hear from you. Are you currently in the market for a luxury home in DFW, or have you already bought one and you learned something the hard way? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one of them, and I'll see you there.